And now the final rider of the day, Chloe Dygert of the U.S.
Being in the start gate for cycling's time trial event feels a bit like being at a rocket launch.
Ignition sequence start.
A time trial is you against the clock.
6, 5, 4.
Each parameter accounted for, down to the gram, the second, or the watt.
There's every aerodynamic benefit we could possibly find. The science behind it is just beautiful.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
All right, liftoff, and the clock has started.
There are times where you could be up to 40, 50, 60 miles an hour.
But you know what they say about best laid plans.
Coming into Paris. Oh no! She goes down and hits the deck.
Okay, we've had a problem here.
On today's episode of The Podium, how when all the math goes out the window, it's the school of hard knocks that gets you across the finish line.
Roger, capsule is turning around.
iHeartRadio is the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics. It's the only way to listen to exclusive NBC play-by-play action of the games, plus NBC's top Olympic moments and live hourly updates from Paris. Bring the Summer Games with you everywhere you go. Download the free iHeart app now and enable push notifications for live updates from Paris. We often throw around that no stone is left unturned for Olympic success. No bridge is too far, no advantage too small. But cycling's time trial may take the cake.
We spend a lot of time in the wind tunnel. I actually have a mannequin made of my body, so I don't have to go to the wind tunnel, and it sits on my bike whenever I go. New positions on the bike is a little bit hard because I am obviously a mannequin is set in stone. So the mannequin is made more so for testing material and suits. So many advantages to all the different things that we have available for us. I am Chloe Dygert. I'm a cyclist, and I just won bronze in the time trial. A time trial is you against the clock. You are on a super specific bike with super fast wheels, and you try to get as aerodynamic as possible. You have a super fast suit, you have a super fast helmet, you have extensions on your bars to make you kind of look like Superman when you ride your bike.
Chloe's bike doesn't quite look like the ones you and I would ride. Firstly, because of that Superman position, which illustrates it is made for one thing and one thing only. Not comfort, not necessarily weight, but for slicing through the air.
It's getting crazier and crazier with the advantages in the aerodynamics. If we go back and look at Kristen Armstrong, she's my coach. If we go back and look at her bikes from 2008, it's almost laughable to think that bike won an Olympic medal. Today, if you look at my bike, it is set up to be the fastest machine out there. There's every aerodynamic benefit we could possibly find. The placing of the aero extensions, the buttons that you click to shift your chainring, the derailleur that you have, all of it. And we are constantly working and trying to find the fastest possible pieces to make the bike as fast as possible. Every piece of material that we have is different, from the material that is on our shoulders compared to the material that is on our legs. The material that are on the shoes on top of, we have shoe covers. So the piece on the shoe covers is different compared to what is on my sock. The sock might match my shoulder, but my stomach is going to match, a piece on my back. The back is going to be different it's just every piece is so different, and it's so fine-tuned to how it's going to flow into the wind. So when I get on it, all I have to do is just push the pedals, and it's up to me.
And the me ingredient can also be totally studied and optimized. Many time trial riders know the exact amount of power they can hold without cracking. They would look at these metrics on their bike computers, a little device with a screen on or in the bike. But this is where Chloe begins to buck the trend of over-planning.
I have been very fortunate to have Kristen Armstrong as my coach, and she's taught me how to push the limits, knowing my body rather than looking at a pace plan or power numbers. most of my time trials, I don't look at power. I look at my cadence and I look at speed and I look at my time. And I think, for me, I know how to push. If I'm hurting, then I'm going fast. If I'm not hurting, I'm not going fast. So I think trying to figure out the balance of, not going into the red, but not going too easy. And I've been very fortunate with that. And, yesterday, again, knowing my body so well, I know when I'm on a good run and I know when I'm not.
On the day of the race, the one ever-present uncontrollable, the tormentor of all Type A planners, reared its head.
Yeah, so to be honest, I knew the weather was going to be bad. We had thoughts that it was going to be bad weeks prior. So to be honest, I assumed that it was going to rain. I enjoy the rain, so it wasn't upsetting for me. But again, a time trial, anything can go wrong. I luckily have very few things that I set in stone for a time trial. So if something does go wrong, I can't use it as an excuse that I didn't do well. I've done that in the past. I've had superstitions in the past that where I would wear my socks on the other feet, right on the left foot and left on the right foot. And I remember one race, I was like, I'm going to break this superstition. I'm going to just change it. I really try not to have anything that would affect me if it went wrong. And, that's why I don't race with power. I don't race with anything really that could just take my focus away from putting out 100% effort.
In Paris. And now back to Chloe Dygert, last rider on the road and a gold medal favorite. If she were to pull it off, it would be the first gold medal for Team USA at these Paris Olympic Games.
Generally, races are won anywhere from 28 to 31 miles an hour. And yesterday, I think the race was won just around 30, I want to say. I could be wrong. But yeah, when you're in that aero position, when you're on the time trial bike, you are going faster than you would on a road bike because the bike is set up to go really fast. And you are set up to be in a position where you can ride really fast. So, the best way I can think of is when I explain to someone when I'm getting in my time trial position, I think of having my helmet on, hearing the wind against my helmet. I can think of hearing my rings clink against my extensions. If it's raining, I can hear the raindrops on my visor. I can hear the raindrops on my helmet. You can hear the wind between your legs. You can hear the disc rolling against the wind. You can hear the tires running against the ground. It's a beautiful thing when you feel and hear those sensations, especially when you're on a good run, because that's all you think of is just the beautiful aspect of what it is when you are competing and you are having a good day.
The reigning world champion, but she has dealt with illnesses. She has dealt with injuries. It has been a tumultuous career for Chloe Dygert.
But there's several times through the race that I had made some slips.
And now she is back on some of her best form of her career here today in Paris.
I ended up going down at one point.
Here she is saying coming into Paris, oh no! She goes down and hits the deck.
And the only thing I can think of is how fast can I get back on my bike and keep going. Obviously that takes a significant amount of time off. And then depending on the injury, definitely took some power out of my legs. The visor did fall off in the crash. Aerodynamically, it was a loss. I potentially was going to start with glasses underneath, but in warm-up I tried and there was too much fog. And so we decided against the glasses underneath. My power balance for sure changed towards the end of the race. You could see my left leg was really struggling. And so it was pretty much everything I had to get to the finish line at that point.
In that moment, no amount of wind tunnel prep or aerodynamic clothing would be the tools that Chloe needed to cross the finish line. She had gone from a late lead to leg spasms. What she leaned on was her experience of a crash in the 2020 World Championships. It required heart surgery and nearly cost her her left leg.
Let's take you back to the World Championships. In 2020, she had this crash in the time trial, went over a guardrail. It made a huge gash just above her left knee. She was going to be a favorite for the time trial going into the Tokyo Olympics, but this completely derailed. derailed her.
When I first started, my first few years, I had a world title every single year, and that was a goal of mine. I wanted to have a world title every single year of my career. And when the accident happened, when I crashed, that put that goal on pause, obviously. I lost 3 years, basically, sitting on the sidelines. But I have to say, having that accident, it really put life in perspective, and it showed me a sense of gratitude and appreciation for life and for sport that I never thought I would ever have. Of course, it's hard to say that crash is a blessing, but in a way it's a blessing because I believe it's made me a better person on and off the bike. It's given me a beautiful perspective on life, and it's definitely made me who I am, and I'm very grateful. And yes, I think it's helped me overcome a lot. But again, ever since I was little, when I was running and when I was playing basketball, injury, setback was just a way of life. And I'm very fortunate to have had that strength when I was young to when this accident did happen. I had the strength to overcome it as well.
Times earlier, now for Chloe Dygert. It is a real race at this point, trying to recover the time that was lost at the first time check. And now, after that crash, can she mentally recalibrate and get back into it?
I think that's what happened yesterday in the race. I very easily could have just stepped away and given up, but I kept going. I just gave it everything.
And after all that planning, all that time in the lead,
oh, Chloe Dygert, despite the crash, no one digs deeper. No one has more resolve, a resilient nature. Chloe Dygert's at the line in Paris, and she's gonna get the bronze medal.
I'm just very fortunate and blessed to still walk away with a medal.
follow the show on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Amazon Music, or your favorite podcast platform, and watch and listen to every moment of the 2024 Paris Olympic Games, July 26 to August 11 on NBC and Peacock, and for the first time ever on the iHeart app.